So this release, found via Progline, extraordinary listen if you're into prog fusion, especially of a spacier variety. The cover suggests so, and the sonics do not disappoint. By the later 70s, this sort of music was waning out of the popular consciousness, although there was a certain fan base for jazz fusion. Weather Report had achieved a certain degree of commercial success, and there was some smaller market for, some of the members of Weather Report and other associated fusion musicians to release their solo albums. They seem to have some sort of revenue stream available from loyal fans and live gigs. And so they're able to get a record deal and slap out this Visitor 2035 self-titled. It's actually their sophomore album. I'm not as familiar with their initial release, which is titled Kane, a modern mystery play. I wonder if that's like what Yes is Close to the Edge is for Hermann Hesse's Siddhartha to Hesse's Demian, rather. I don't know. Who were Visitor 2035? Let's find out. Visitor 2035 were a short-lived band based in the UK with the Irishman John Mason and Craig Pruis, an American residing in UK since 1973. Mason is renowned as a member of the Irish top-notch outfit Fruip. Pruis performed with Mike Oldfield and did arrangements for music of Sarah Brightman, Def Leppard, and Massive Attack. Wow, among many others. Other members were Ray Defaults, guitar Nigel Robinson, percussion, and Peter Stroud, bass. Mason played keyboards and Pruis was on the trumpet. The band self-released Kane, a modern mystery play in 1976, and released the self-titled album in 1978 for the German label Hansa. The music of Visit 2035 is heavily rooted in fusion on the Weather Report side, with omnipresent symphonic elements and eerie, spacey keyboard textures. It's recommended to fans of music which is stepping out of the fusion realm, as well as to all fans of good music. So writes Morris Mateligian in 2010. A review published on Prog Archives, uploaded by one Finn Forrest, titled Space Fusion, reads, I imagine the second Visitor 2035 album as one of those titles which gets the occasional mention in darkened basements where old proggers have gathered to spin obscure music whilst attempting not to bother the rest of the family. Somewhere between the posters and the next bowl, Visitor 2035 comes up. Is it possible this title is not available on CD? While it may not be the greatest jazz rock album, it's pretty fantastic in my opinion, I would say. And sorry, that was just my side. While I'm not genre qualified to proclaim that anyway, the jazz heads on the side have not yet written about this one, so you're stuck with my thoughts for now. Despite my lack of jazz pedigree, I do know what I like, and I like this one. It fits comfortably with others I've owned, such as Secret Oyster and Il Baricentro, while folks elsewhere have mentioned Brand X and Weather Report in comments. Certain smoother sections even remind me a bit of Camel's more fusion-y methods. Yeah, I can see that. I can hear that. Lacking the smoky grit of jazz albums that obsess on the saxophone and its CD vibe, Visitor really does seem to consciously embrace the album cover they chose, yeah. Consistently they will bring back those keyboard sounds of a very spacey feel, very soothing and peaceful. This is not to say they cannot peel off some wicked guitar leads and funky grooves. The talents of the players and the diversity of songwriting is a great strength. They work their way into these huge, borderline wild jams, killer bass, and then they drop right into these soothing, spacey landscapes, something to thrive on the contrast. Cassiopeia stays in this low-key territory with acoustic guitar and light percussion, almost Oregon territory. Synths find their way back in, and again we feel like we have a soundtrack for stargazing. I like the balance they use of various synthesizer piano and e-piano. I think the album would please most instrumental rock fans. I've always found this one an impressive release from the little-known gems category. If you can't track down a vinyl, you can hear it currently on YouTube. And I would recommend going to Progline to check out Visitor 2035. Someone appears to have uploaded a vinyl rip for your listening pleasure. Do seek it out if you're so inclined. Thanks again, my friends. Here to promote Visitor 2035 by Visitor 2035 from 1978.